Good morning, KCPS! I'm excited to be back to share another book with you. We've read so many books so far this year, and today we're going to read another one. Today we're going to read a book called Come On, Rain. And while reading our book today, we're going to be thinking very closely about our characters Tess and Mama. And we're going to be thinking about two questions while we're reading today. We're going to be thinking about how does Tess and Mama respond when the weather is hot and dry? And how do Tess and Mama respond when the weather is wet and cold? So today when we're reading, make sure you're paying very close attention so we can stop and think and talk together. Come on, let's go read a book. All right, friends, let's get started with our book, Come On, Rain by Karen Hess. Remember, when we're reading, we're going to pay very close attention to the characters' thoughts, actions, and words, and how they respond in the story. Come on, rain. Come on, rain, I say, squinting into the endless heat. Mama lifts a listless vine and sighs. 3 weeks and not a drop, she says, sagging over her parched plants. The sound of a heavy truck rumbles past. Uneasy, Mama looks over to me. Is that thunder, Tessie? She asks. Mama hates thunder. I climb up the steps for a better look. It's just a truck, Mama, I say. I am sizzling like a hot potato. I ask Mama, may I put on my bathing suit? Absolutely not, Mama says, frowning under her straw hat. You'll burn all day out in this sun. Up and down the block, cats pant. Heat wavers off the tar patches in the broiling alleyway. Ms. Grace and Miss Vera bend, tending beds of drooping vines. Not a sign of my friends Liz or Rosemary, not a peep from my pal Jackie Joyce. I stare out over rooftops, past chimneys, into the way-off distance, and that's where I see it coming. Clouds rolling in, gray clouds, bunched and bulging under a purple sky.
Sorry, that was me. Can you repeat that? Sorry.
You okay?
There was too much noise there. Alright, we're going back to that same page, or at the top of the page where you were. Okay, here we go. 3, 2...
Up and down the block, cats pant. Heat wavers off tar patches in the broiling alleyway. Miss Grace and Miss Vera bend, tending beds of drooping vines. Not a sign of my friends Liz or Rosemary, not a peep from my pal Jackie Joyce. I stare out over rooftops, past chimneys, into the way-off distance, and that's when I see it coming. Clouds rolling in. Gray clouds, bunched and bulging under a purple sky. A creeper of hope circles round my bones. Come on, rain, I whisper. Quietly, while Mama weeds, I cross the crackling dry path past Ms. Glick's window. Glancing inside, I hurry by. Ms. Glick's needle sticks on her phonograph, playing the same notes over and over in the dim, stuffy cave of her room. The smell of hot tar and garbage bullies the air as I climb the steps to Jackie Joyce's porch. Jackie Joyce, I breathe, pressing my nose against her screen. Jackie Joyce comes to the door. Her long legs, like 2 brown string beans, sprout from her shorts. It's going to rain, I whisper. Put on your suit and come straight over. Slick with sweat, I run back home and slip up the steps past Mama. She is nearly senseless in the sizzling heat, kneeling over the hot rump of a melon. In the kitchen, I pour iced tea into the top of a tall glass. I aim a spoonful of sugar into my mouth and then a second into the drink. Got you some tea, Mama, I say, pulling her inside the house. Mama sinks onto a kitchen chair and sweeps off her hat. Sweat trickles down her neck and wets the front of her dress and under her arms. Mama presses the ice-chilled glass against her skin. Aren't you something, Tessie, she says. I nod smartly. Rain's coming, Mama, I say. Mama turns to the window and sniffs. It's about time, she murmurs. How are Mama and Tessa feeling because of the dry, hot weather? How are they feeling? Sweaty, sizzling, maybe a little sad, maybe tired. Jackie Joyce in her bathing suit knocks at the door and I let her in. Jackie Joyce has her suit on, Mama, I say. May I wear mine too? I hold my breath waiting. A breeze blows in the thin curtains into the kitchen, then sucks them back against the screen again. Is there thunder? Mama asks. No thunder, I say. Is there lightning? Mama asks. No lightning, Jackie Joyce says. You stay where I can find you, Mama says. We will, I say. Well, go on then, Mama says, lifting the glass to her lips to take a sip. Come on, Rain, I cheer, peeling out of my clothes and into my soup, while Jackie Joyce runs to get Liz and Rosemary. We meet in the alleyway. All the insects have gone still. Trees sway under a swollen sky. The wind grows bold and bolder. And just like that, rain comes. The first drop plops down big, making dust dance all around us. Then a deeper gray descends, and the air cools and the clouds burst. And suddenly rain is everywhere. Come on, rain, we shout. It streams through our hair and down our backs. It freckles our feet, glazes our toes. We turn in circles, glistening in our rain skin. Our mouths wide, we gulp down rain. Jackie Joyce chases Rosemary, who chases Liz, who chases me. Wet, slicking our arms and legs, we splash up the block, squealing and whooping in the streaming rain. How do the characters feel in the wet weather? We see that they're changing a little bit. Now they're happy, they're dancing, they're singing. We make such racket, Miss Gliz rushes out on her porch. Miss Grace and Miss Vera come next, and then comes Mama. They run from their kitchens and skid to a stop. Leaning over their rails, they turn to each other. A smile spreads from porch to porch, and with a wordless nod, first one, then all. Fling off their shoes, skim off their hose, tossing streamers of stockings over their shoulders, our bare-legged mamas dance down the steps and join us in the fresh, clean rain, while the music from Miss Glick's phonograph shimmies and sparkles and streaks like night lightning. Jackie Joyce, Liz, Rosemary, and I, we grab the hands of our mamas. We twirl and sway them, tromping through puddles, romping and reeling in the moisty green air. We swing our wet and wild-haired mamas till we're all laughing under trinkles of silver rain. I hug Mama's hand and she hugs me back. The rain has made us new, and the clouds move off. I trace the drips on Mama's face. Everywhere, everyone, everything is misty limbs springing back to life. We sure did get a soaking, Mama, I say, and we headed home, purely soothed, fresh as dew, turning toward the first sweet rays of the sun. The end.
What a great story we just read. I just love all the words the author uses in this book. And today we're going to use some of those words to help us answer our question today. So our first question is, how do Mama and Tess respond to the hot, dry weather? So I want to go back into the story and I want to think about the beginning part of my story, when we know the weather was hot and dry. And we notice that the author uses words like sweating, sizzling, sagging, squinting. So how do Tess and Mama respond when it's hot and dry? I remember that when it was hot and dry, in the hot, dry weather, Mama and Tess are sweating, squinting, and tired. So at the beginning in our story, when it's hot and dry, they're sweating, they're squinting, they're tired. But then, how do Mama and Tess respond to the cold, wet weather? Remember, we have a change in the weather. We go from hot and dry to cold and wet. So how do they respond when it's cold and wet? We see dancing and running. We see singing. We see the mamas come off the porches and come and dance with the kids, right? So how they respond to the cold, wet weather? In the cold, wet weather, Mama and
Tess are laughing, singing, and dancing. So when we were thinking about how our characters respond and change, we're using the illustrations, we're using all of our picture clues, our illustrations, and we're using the words that the author is saying. Always Tess is saying, "Come on, rain," and then the author is using words to help paint a picture in our mind. So when you're reading stories with your mom and dad or your brothers and sisters, be thinking about what are the characters thinking, what are they feeling, what are they doing, and how do they respond when something happens in the story. I'll be back to share another book with you, and I can't wait to see you again soon. Bye, KCPS!